Have you ever noticed how we sometimes treat our sob stories like precious family heirlooms? We dust them off, polish them until they shine, and present them to anyone who will listen, as if our pain is our most valuable possession. It is the strangest human habit, this fierce loyalty to a version of ourselves that is defined by lack, by what went wrong, by the chances we never got. You know this character intimately, don't you? The one I call the poor you. This is the identity built on a foundation of self-pity, the one who carries past failures around like a backpack full of rocks. It's the part of you that whispers, "This is just how it is for me," perpetuating a cycle of struggle because it's the only story it knows how to tell. But what if that role was a miscast? What if you have been playing a tragic part in a story that was always meant to be a glorious triumph? Today, we are staging an intervention. We are going to kill the poor you so that the real you, the magnificent you, can finally rise. And to do this, we're bringing in the heavy hitters. We will explore the converging genius of the mystical visionary, Neville Goddard, and the fabulously defiant Reverend Ike. We're going to unite Neville's masterful application of the law of assumption and his technique of living in the end, with Reverend Ike's unapologetic command to get out of the mental ghetto for good. Neville will help you build the new you in the quiet of your imagination, while Ike provides the righteous fire to burn the old identity to the ground. Because here is the secret. True, lasting prosperity is not just a fleeting thought or a positive vibe. It is a unified state of being. It is the complete fusion of a mind that has already arrived at its destination, and a bold spirit that refuses to even glance back at the person it used to be. It is time to drop the rocks and walk away. So how did we end up carrying those rocks in the first place? Why do we cling to them? Neville Goddard would say it's a case of mistaken identity caused by a wild, unsupervised imagination. He taught that your imagination is not some fluffy sideshow for idle daydreams. It is the divine production studio of your entire reality. You are the writer, the director, and the star of the movie of your life. The only problem is, most of us are directing a low-budget tragedy on a continuous loop. We wake up and immediately start rolling the tape on the not enough money scene. Then we cut to the nobody appreciates me monologue. We meticulously storyboard our worries and rehearse our fears until we know them by heart. We are giving an Academy Award-winning performance of the poor you, and then we are shocked when our life feels like a somber, independent film that only gets shown at depressing film festivals. We have turned our magnificent reality-creating imagination into a warehouse for B-roll footage of our own failures. This is precisely where Reverend Ike would burst onto the set and yell, "Cut!" He would look at your script of lack and limitation, declare it a poverty picture, and toss it right into the nearest incinerator. He'd say you're filming your life in the ghetto of your own mind. Both of these masters understood the same fundamental truth. The film you shoot on the inside is the only one that can ever be projected onto the screen of your world. The poor you isn't a character you were forced to play. It's a role you keep casting yourself in. So, how do we make a new movie? This is the fun part, and it's the secret behind living in the end. You don't argue with the old footage. You simply decide on a new scene to shoot. Let's say the old scene is anxious about paying a bill. You don't try to wrestle with the anxiety. No. You go to the quiet editing room of your mind and create the scene that implies the bill is already paid. What does that feel like? Relief? Freedom? Perhaps you imagine yourself making a cup of tea, a little smile on your face, feeling that wonderful sense of all is well. You loop that feeling. You play that short, happy scene in your imagination until it feels more real than the worry ever did. If this idea of becoming the director of your own reality is sparking something in you, do me a quick favor and give this a like, and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the sequel. We're just getting to the good part. You see, this is not hard work. It's creative play. Your imagination isn't supposed to be a documentary of your current problems. It's the trailer for your coming attractions. You just have to decide to produce a blockbuster. Now, once you have decided to produce a blockbuster, you can't just leave it in the editing room of your mind. This is where so many people fall flat. They do their little 5-minute visualization, feel good for a moment, and then they get up and walk right back onto the set of their old, sad movie. They put on the costume of the poor you, slump their shoulders, and start reciting the same old lines about how hard everything is. This is precisely where Reverend Ike would stop the show and look at you with that glorious, knowing grin. He would say you cannot feel like $1 million in your imagination and then walk around apologizing for taking up space in the world. The two don't match. You have to get your attitude out of the ghetto. And let's be clear that mental ghetto has a physical address. It's in your posture. Stop walking into a room like you're hoping nobody notices you. You are not an inconvenience. You are the main event. Throw your shoulders back. Lift your chin. You are not looking for spare change on the pavement. You are surveying your dominion. Walk like you own the building and are just deciding whether you want to repaint the lobby. That ghetto is in your voice. Stop talking about what you don't have. Do you think truly prosperous people sit around the dinner table swapping stories about how much the gas bill was? No. They talk about their ideas, their passions, their next big move. Your words are the advertisement for your state of being. If you keep advertising a clearance sale on misery, that's the only customer you're going to attract. Start issuing press releases from the office of fabulous. What is one poor you habit you're ready to drop right now? Is it the way you slump when you walk? Is it the way you complain about prices? Declare it in the comments below. Let's get it out in the open, so we can leave it behind for good. This isn't about being fake. It's about being congruent. That feeling of relief, of success, of it is done, that you cultivate in your imagination must have an echo in your body. The feeling of spiritual wealth has a certain posture. The feeling of being loved has a certain look in the eye. Your self-image is the costume for the role you are now playing. You must dress the part. You don't have to be dripping in diamonds, but you cannot expect a first-class life if you are presenting a third-rate version of yourself to the world. You must stop identifying with lack. When someone asks how you are, your automatic response cannot be, "Oh, struggling along." That is the poor you trying to steal the microphone. You fire that character. You say, "I am doing wonderfully." And you feel the truth of that in the magnificent world within you, regardless of what the temporary facts may say. You have to carry yourself with the dignity of your destination. You must act as if you are already the person you have decided to be, because in the only reality that matters, you already are. And this, right here, is where the real work begins. This is the moment of the great test, and it's where 99% of people give up and go home. You have created the feeling of wealth. You have adjusted your posture and started speaking from a place of abundance. You feel magnificent. And then, you open your eyes and see the same four walls. You check your bank account, and the number is stubbornly, infuriatingly the same. This is the gotcha moment, isn't it? The moment the poor you character, who you thought you fired, leaps back onto the stage, grabs the microphone and screams, "See? I told you so." And what do? You start to panic. You check your email again and again. You refresh the banking app on your phone every 10 minutes, as if your sheer, desperate focus will somehow scare the numbers into changing. You start looking for signs, but all you see is evidence of the old story. Your faith, which felt so solid in the quiet of your mind, suddenly feels as fragile as a soap bubble. Listen to me closely. This gap, this space between your inner knowing and its outer expression, is not a sign of failure. It is the necessary gestation period. This is the crucible where your new identity is forged. Neville would call this the critical stage of persistence, the unwavering loyalty to your unseen reality. Reverend Ike would just call it refusing to look at the ghetto you just left. Your senses are liars. They are reporters on the scene of a car crash that already happened. They are broadcasting old news. Your job is to stop tuning in. This practice of denying the senses is not about delusion. It's about discernment. You don't pretend the bill isn't in your mailbox. You simply refuse to give it the starring role. You acknowledge it as a leftover prop from the old movie, and you turn your attention back to the blockbuster you are now filming. You have planted a seed in the fertile soil of your consciousness. The absolute most foolish thing you can do now is to dig it up every day to see if it's growing. You will kill it. You have to trust the process. You have to water it with your faith, with your continued feeling of the wish fulfilled. Every time you feel that pull to worry, to check, to doubt, you must recognize it for what it is, an audition for the role of the poor you. Do not give that character a callback. Your only job during this interval is to remain faithful to the person you have already become in imagination. The how, the when, and the where are not your concern. That is the producer's job. You are the star, and the star's only responsibility is to show up on cue and embody the role. The rest of the world is just the stage crew, and they are already rushing to rearrange the set to match your new state of being. So how do we make this unwavering faith a practical, daily habit? How do we train ourselves to stay in the new state when the old world is screaming for our attention? This is where we synthesize the quiet power of Neville with the defiant fire of Ike. Neville gives you the internal blueprint for your new identity, and Ike provides the unapologetic energy to live it out loud. Together, they give us the secret weapon for killing the poor you for good. I call it the state walk. This is your daily 5-minute reality shift. First, find a comfortable chair where you will not be disturbed. Close your eyes. This is the Neville part. Do not try to construct a complicated mental movie. Instead, I want you to simply ask yourself, what would the feeling be like if my wonderful desire were already a fact? Would it be relief, quiet joy, a deep sense of peace? Zero in on that single feeling. That is the signature of your wish fulfilled. Now, marinate in it. Breathe it in. Let that feeling of it is done. Saturate every cell of your body. This is you impressing your subconscious mind with your new truth. After a few minutes, this is where the magic happens. Do not just open your eyes and go back to business as usual. This is the Ike part. Slowly open your eyes, take a deep breath, and stand up. Now, walk. Walk around the room carrying that feeling with you. How does a person who feels that profound relief move? Their shoulders are back. Their chin is lifted. They walk with a calm, easy authority. You are literally, physically walking out of the ghetto of your old state and into the dominion of your new one. Feel the floor beneath your feet as your own territory. This exercise is how you plant the seed of your new reality. Now, a crucial warning. The most common and fatal mistake is to perform what I call a reality check abortion. You cannot do this powerful exercise and then immediately run to your phone to see if the money has arrived. That is the equivalent of planting a beautiful seed and then frantically digging it up 5 minutes later to see if it has sprouted. You will kill it every single time. Your only job after the state walk is to maintain a healthy mental diet, trusting that the seed is doing its work in the unseen. This is your daily ritual of death and resurrection. And so we arrive at the end. But this is not an ending. It is a glorious, explosive beginning. You have walked through the metaphysical fire. You have the quiet certainty of Neville to build your new reality in consciousness. And you have the magnificent defiance of Ike to command its appearance in your world. There is nothing left to learn, only something to finally be. The choice was never about getting something you do not have. It was always about ceasing to pretend you are someone you are not. You are the sole operant power. You are the cause, the creator, and the king. Repeat this until it is the only truth you know. I am the resurrection and the life of my own prosperity. If you are truly ready to embody this power, to master the fusion of Neville's grace and Ike's fire, then make sure you subscribe. We are going to make this your permanent reality. Now go, the funeral for the poor you is scheduled for right now, but you will not be attending. You have far more important business. Stop laying flowers on the grave of an identity that was never yours to begin with. Go pop the champagne. The real heir to the throne has finally come home. I am Wealth Mindset.